We live in a society that is heavily pushed by a narrative of feminism. And I'm not here to say feminism bad. There's many positives that have come from feminism. However, in the West, I have to ask, what good is it doing when we are leaving men and boys to suffer? Because there's something happening in the world right now that I would assume feminists would be all over, but they're not. They've stayed very quiet about it. And what am I talking about? None other than ISIS women accused of turning 13-year-old boys into human stud farms. 2 boys have come forward to claim that they were victims in a twisted plot run by ISIS women that forced at least 10 young teenagers to try to impregnate dozens of women held in a detention center. This is blatant human trafficking happening right before our eyes, but there's no mention of it in the media by feminists. There's no angry feminists on Twitter talking about it. I'm the first woman that I've seen on social media address it. Ahmet, 13, and Hamid, 14 years old, told the guards, "We are being forced to have sex with these ISIS women to impregnate them. Can you get us out of here?" This is currently taking place at Camp Al-Hol, which is one of the detention centers housing approximately 8,000 foreign ISIS-affiliated women and children who surrendered or were captured as the result of the 2019 territorial defeat of the so-called Islamic State. While some of these women want nothing more to do with ISIS, others continue in their violent dedication, insisting on carrying on ISIS's distorted Islamic dictates, punishing women who renounce ISIS, and working hard to indoctrinate children whose countries refuse to save them. Nobody knows the exact number of pregnancies in the camps, but the SDF intelligence who monitor the camps say that there are many, which shouldn't be possible given that ISIS men are held separately. Some pregnancies may have been the result of illicit relationships with guards, but officials say that boys are clearly being exploited by ISIS women. So why is this not all over the media? Because I can think of countless different times that we have left men behind. The war in Ukraine, hundreds of thousands of men and boys were left behind to die. It reminds me of the protests that happened in Iran when men were being murdered and killed on the street just for protesting alongside women to have them have their right to show their hair. Meanwhile, up here in the West, we were painting this narrative that men are so evil and oppressive there. There's nothing wrong with having feminism be a part of society, but there is something wrong when feminism is such a big part of society that even suggesting that men and boys are disadvantaged, hell, even oppressed, it's a problem when that becomes enough for feminists to grab their pitchforks and their torches. There are some really scary things happening in the world right now, not just to little girls and not just to women. It is time that we open our fucking eyes and realize that women are not the only victims, and men and boys as well can be vulnerable. They are vulnerable, and we need to do something. And it starts with spreading the message.